From Southern Cross to Black Swan. I'd like to talk to you today about my experience with editing district newsletters. Back in 2010, I took on the editorship of the District 73 newsletter, the Southern Cross. Whilst I was somewhat of a reluctant editor, I was quite happy to take on the role, in as much as I'd previously edited newsletters for various organisations with which I belong. I've used various editing software, but in this case the newsletter was produced by Adobe InDesign. My main issue with production of a newsletter was that InDesign is probably geared towards professional. It's very good at what it does, but if you want to get on a short journey, you don't need to use a Rolls Royce. A VW Beetle will suffice. InDesign has all the bells and whistles. But the problem is when you've got something as sophisticated as that, you're not sure what everything does and why it does things. And being a basically Windows user, suddenly I felt as though the software was driving me rather than the other way around. Now, I say I was a Windows user. I have used Adobe Photoshop extensively and enjoy it greatly. I love using Photoshop. But InDesign is a whole different beast, I can promise you. The formatting of articles I found proved to be difficult. I did realise that there was something that allowed you to run pages over to further pages. But I always seem to be struggling trying to fit those last few lines in, and then losing information and wondering where the hell it had gone. It was a struggle. I decided that as we were approaching, here in Western Australia, a new district, it would be a good time to take a whole new approach. I started to look around at other ways that newsletters were produced. And then I thought that this would probably make a good high-performance leadership project. So I sought out various senior Toastmasters within the district and came up with a few ideas. Pretty soon I settled on the idea of going to an e-newsletter. You've seen it so often with the type of thing you get into your email box, especially newspapers, whereby you get a headline and maybe a picture alongside of the story, a few teasers as to what the story's about, and you click the link and it takes you into the full story. Now my concept was that the stories would be stored on the district website. And discussions with David Nicholas, who was the webmaster of still is the webmaster of the District 17 website, and was also one of my committee members. So it just goes that shows to get these people on board right from the start. We decided on a strategy as to how this could be done. We then needed to look around for some software, and fortunately I was given some very sound advice by somebody from the Marketers Group, Helen Thistlewood. She'd used some software called Constant Contact. She also pointed out to me that it's a software that Toastmasters International uses for sending out its e-news to all members. Having sourced the software, I needed some time to play around with it and to experiment. And sure enough, it seemed to do the job. Of course, the free versions are never as good as the full-blown versions, and I soon became aware of its limitations. Discussions with the new district committee meant that we were able to go ahead and make the payments to get the full-blown version of the software out there. we were now on for the ride. This was going to be fun. So the first edition was due, and I started to put music together. Sure enough, it was going to be easy. David had given me very clear guidelines on how I could store the information on the website. Basically, I store the stories in PDF format. So they came into me generally in Word. I applied constant fonts, font size, headings, so that the look and feel of every story is the same. Then convert it to PDF, load it up onto the website, and then create the links. All well and good. Of course, as with any publication, it's only as good as the content. And there lies the rub. Getting content from within the district is difficult to say the least. I do have some regular people that send in very, very good stories and views. Very stimulating. And I eventually managed to drag things out of some people. Generally, I would say that I probably underestimate how much information I've got. I tend to think there's not enough to get the reader to hold back. And typically, as I'm about to publish, I found that I've got 14 or 15 articles, which is probably a little bit too much, really. And then you start putting it together. And of course, with that number, it takes a bit longer because things don't always go the much expected to. And then on top of that, of course, people send things in at the last minute. Oh, do you think you can just squeeze this together? Well, I don't have the limitations that I used to have, so yes, I can always squeeze it in, but it just means there's extra work. This latest edition had 3 stories come in after I put the thing together. But they're there. And here we are now. We've chosen the name for our new District 17 newsletter. It's Black Swan. So that's the journey that we've come from Southern Cross to Black Swan. With further work, I'm sure we can improve it even more. But certainly, it's been a wonderful ride so far.